here's the thing with Matt Nagy. Your job as a coach is not to find players that fit into your system. Your job as the coach is to figure out ways to allow players to excel in your system and adjust your system around their skill set. I don't want to hear anymore that you want to run the Chiefs system. That's not your job. Your job is to take the talent of the players that you have and get them to be as good as they possibly can. Mitchell Trubisky gives them the best option. He will cover up the two main deficiencies they have: a poor offensive line because of his athleticism, and an average skill group because of his athleticism. Go back to Mitchell Trubisky.
This feels a little bit like when your friend breaks up with someone, everyone's like, thank you, finally. And then they start dating again, and it's tough. And they're like, maybe that old guy wasn't that bad. I am here, Dan, to be the rational voice in the room to remind you, yes, he was that bad. Okay? And not, I mean, he's a lovely person.
He was.
He's a lovely person. But he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL by any measure. And they won a few games in the beginning of the season because Mitch Trubisky got to play the 27th best defenses in the league. Nick Foles has played the 10th best by ESPN's FPI rating, so competition matters. But he's not a good quarterback. They know what they have in him at this point. And I hear what you're saying about how potentially his athleticism could allow them to compensate for some of their pass protection issues. I hear you, and I agree with you. That's something Matt Nagy could have, should have, would have taken advantage of. But Mitch Trubisky was also significantly worse than Nick Foles has been throwing under pressure. So while, yes, you might get a few more positive plays on the ground, he is not a good passer when he's pressured, and you're correct in pointing out that that is not a good offensive line. I don't see him upgrading that offense. I'm not saying Nick Foles has been great. I'm really not, but Mitch Trubisky is not an improvement.
Marcus first, and then Dan, you jump.
Hey, Els, Dan been on that yak today. I'm convinced.
He could have been.
He done had a day full of yak.
I hadn't been close enough to him to find out.
First of all, Mitchell Trubisky is credited with 3 wins, but it's really 2 because Nick Foles had to actually come in and win the game against the Atlanta Falcons. That's number 1. The next thing is, Mitch Trubisky been athletic, and guess what he been too? Bad. That's the reason they brought Nick Foles in. Listen, I'm by no means saying Nick Foles is great. I'm not. That is not what I'm saying. But this man has had this team. Look, the Saints went to overtime. We obviously know how dominant the Rams were in that game, and they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the team that we're really putting up there as one of the better teams in the NFC. This was about Nick Foles, and to your point, like, he's turned the football over. I get that. But he's also been steady enough not to give games away and not have them in position to win some of these games. Don't go back to Mitchell Trubisky, Matt Nagy, please. We already know what he is.
I'm going to go Ryan Clark on him.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go Ryan Clark on him. I'm going RC on you. How has he been steady enough? How has he been steady enough? He's doing the one thing. Like, listen, if Nick Foles was doing, like, getting the ball out of his hands and not hurting the team with the turnovers, I'll be all with you. I love Nick Foles. But here's the thing. The coaching staff has to look at the team and go, what's the best way for us to win games? Scoring 17 a game ain't going to cut it, guys. It's not going to cut it, and that's what they're doing with Nick right now.
And Mitch Trubisky's going to score more than that?
If they use him the right way.
That's what I'm
If they use him the right way.
It's too late.
If they use him the right way.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was the right answer.
And listen, if that was an option, I'd agree with you. But if they use him the right way, guys, quarterback run in football was invented to help lesser offenses. You only got to make 3 blocks, not 5. Marcus, here's the thing. You can't sit here and tell me as long, like, Nick Foles isn't hurting the team or he's operating better. He's not.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.